Good evening, ladies and squirrels. Welcome to the first video of First Gen Steadin. So, out here we're just on the back deck. Just want to show you guys kind of the beginning of it all. There's some wood left over from last winter. Some berries that we've been harvesting pretty aggressively. As you can see in the back there's a little something back there. It's not much now, but I'll show you a little up closer what that is back there. I'm pretty excited about it. I think long term, if you guys stick around, you'll see what happens. My first YouTube video ever. First video I'll ever post on the channel, so kind of exciting and nervous. Trying to find my groove, but here's my fig tree, one of the many. Got a little fig on there. So you'll see the drip irrigation system that I purchased recently. I've been pretty pleased with it. This is my ponderosa lemons. These flowers are lantana, I believe. They're not good for cats, which I learned, and unfortunately, as you may see over there, that's mine. So that I might have to deal with soon. Here's the lime tree. We got a couple limes growing. I'm zone 7A, so this is New York. Here's my gojo berries. So I was looking into these. It takes about 2 to 3 years before they fruit. I got some nice canes. This whole cane is new this year. I've had this for 2 seasons now, so I'm hoping next year I get some berries. This is a Meyer lemon tree next to it. This thing exploded. I'm a little concerned because due to my climate, I do have to bring them in the winter. And this is pretty tall, and it's starting to be something. Don't really know what, but it's on the agenda to deal with. Yeah, and just some potted plants. Back there, you could see some more wine raspberries. Specifically is the subspecies of raspberry. There are some more back there as well. So those two groups, I should say, mixed with what I first showed you. And then there's a couple more over there. So we have a fair amount of just wild-ish raspberries growing in the backyard. I'm sure they were planted on this property at some point. Here I have a raised bed with some onions growing. I bought these as seed onions from Home Depot. This soil that they're in is actually my own compost that I made. It's a little weedy. I think I messed up the process of hot composting it, and I added some stuff a little late to the game. So I did have a little bit of weeds, but since it's at the, kind of a convenient height, it's very easy to weed. So if I just stand out here for a couple of minutes, I could quickly weed this out. This is a basil I grew from seed. This is a basil I just store-bought because I was waiting on that. Here's some rosemary, which I also store-bought. I am working on propagating a branch down here with the rock method. And as you can see, we do have some roots. I mean, it's a little fuzzy, but you kind of see what's going on. There we go. So you do see some roots coming off of that, so it seems like that method was successful. I found a video on how to propagate some stuff on YouTube, and I tried out a couple methods. And here, this was where I started all my seeds. I had this from that. They were shower gifts or something from my wife. And I made absolutely sure to keep these little pots in the tray. I made this at work, just to hold water, kind of like a self-watering system. And here, all these little bad boys I grew from seed from a mulberry tree, which I recovered from a public location. Very excited about those. Pretty much every seed took off. So, I mean, it was very successful. Here's another basil that I grew from seed. I'm just kind of, I don't know what I'm doing with that. Something. I got some flowering plants. There's a lilac bush. I got everbearing strawberries, another variety of everbearing strawberries. These ones have a red flower, while those have your more, you know, standard white. So those are pretty cool. So this is a cutting that rooted itself, and then I cut it and then I replanted. So here's another fig tree. Here's another fig tree. As you can tell, my wife kind of enjoys figs. So, I mean, I'm not a huge fan. And there I am in the background. So, you know, I have several of these. We're Italian. So, you know, it's kind of like what we do, you know. This greenery here came with the house in this exact pot. I just threw some gladiolos in here. It's a little late in the season, but better late than never, right? We got some catamine in here that I'm going to try to propagate. Here, I'm going to spin you guys real slow so no one says anything about my shoddy camera work, even though I just got my finger in the way, but what you going to do? So this is a project for next year. This whole tarped off area. It was very overgrown and not very useful. I do have a rose bush. I've only lived here about a year, so a lot of the stuff I've been doing is just kind of catching up. The house was, the exterior of the house, I should say, was in pretty big disrepair. So I'm slowly going through and, you know, making it my own. I think that's what everyone does when they first move into a house, isn't it? So I'd like to get a line of roses here, a line of catamine here, and something over here. I haven't really worked that out just yet, but you know, all in due time. So there's the rose bush, as I said. I got a sunflower here, which I messed up seeding it. I didn't hit it with a fan, so lesson learned, right? So that's what happens. It falls over. It's a little gangly. It's strong. It's healthy. I mean, you see it growing there, but it's probably never going to really produce much. Better luck next time, right? That's a nice thing about planting, guys. You know, the worst possible thing you could do is kill a plant. You could always try again. Even within the same year, maybe next year. Here is my second year cane of this blueberry bush, which has not been a big producer. I bought it, it was in very poor condition. I got some succulent weeds growing in here, which if they flower, I forget the exact name, I looked into this a little bit. They might be edible, but don't count on it. Here I have store-bought ginger, which I'm super pleased about this. I borrowed my father-in-law's wood chipper, so these are my wood chips. Fancy that. And I'm super excited about that little sprig. I don't know why. It's just like so cool. You could buy something from the store and make it grow. Here's a rose bush. That's gonna go in next year. Raspberries of some variety. It didn't produce anything this year. I think probably very poor soil quality. It's been in that pot for several years. Some hydrangea. This is a pepper. It may be jalapeno or maybe like a mixed bag. You know those, you can buy the mixed seeds. I just planted 1 or 2 seeds, kept this dominant one. It's pretty bug ridden. You know, I'm pretty busy in the summer with work, so sometimes things get away from me. Here's another raspberry bush, and I think I'll be eating that. Pretty good. Eggplant, hydrangeas, cherry tomato, and these 3 tomato plants. Again, I started everything a little late this year. And you know, due to certain things going on with the property right now, I did have to do everything in bags. Definitely not my first, you know, definitely not the goal is to stay in the bags. I do want to get away from the bags, but that comes behind us. Here I have a jalapeno and/or pepper. I think this is the jalapeno, just from the looks of it, the way it looks like this. I'm not like a plant master, you know, those guys that really know their stuff on YouTube. I'm not that guy. You know what guy I am? Just do stuff. Because typically, if you fail, you learn. And I think if you're not failing, you're not doing. That's kind of how I face it all. Anyway, this is a cantaloupe I grew from seed. See how it does? This is Mizuna. I kind of skipped over this. Got distracted looking for caterpillars, and there's one right now. So he's gone, destroying my plants. I noticed they hang out a lot right in the stem here, right along here. So whenever I see them, I dispatch them. And sometimes it's not very humane. But that's my food. Yeah, they're eating my food. As you can tell, this one really got away from me. This thing got butchered. Looks like there's some aphids on there. But, I mean, it's kind of coming back, but it destroyed the crown, so this thing really, really got hurt. Alright, that's all here. These are blackberries or raspberries. I think these are blackberries, just judging by the cane. Again, this didn't really produce. I'm looking more into like learning how to prune these things properly. I know once they get like this and they've been like that for a couple of years, the production really falls off. It gets smaller berries and they're just not as good. I have that problem with some of the wild stuff growing back yonder. But again, we'll get to that. So this is my pea bush, snap peas. Looks like I got a couple flowers coming in here. I already got a couple here. These look pretty good. I could probably pick this one, but I won't. I'll just leave it here for now. I'll probably save. So everything I try to plant heirloom because I want to, you know, do better practices. That I'm kind of cheap. Buying seeds every year just to buy seeds every year is not the most economically wise thing to do. So if you plant heirlooms, granted, you know, they are more susceptible to a lot of things, but if you are successful, you could get the seeds, and that's what I'm really trying to do. As you can see, the tiger lilies are dying back. I made kind of a mess of this year because I planted this, and I'm pretty excited about this too. So over the deck we have some natural shade, so we got some Concord grapes, and I want to trellis this thing up there and then grow it on the pergola for some truly natural shade. Because unfortunately, the neighbor was throwing out this beautiful, beautiful glass table, and it doesn't have a hole for an umbrella. So, natural umbrella when you really need it. And bonus of grapes. So that's all for here. Now comes a big project that I'm going to be working on. So over the next year, and in future videos, of course, videos I will try to do one a week, focusing on different things, projects, tasks, ideas. You know, just doing things. As funny as that sounds, but I mean, if you're not doing it, you're not failing, you're not learning. So I'm gonna put a platform here at about a height of a wheelbarrow, some feeders over here, automatic feeders at a 4-inch PVC, and I'm going to cut into the side of this area and put the nesting boxes actually inside the physical shed. I'm going to take this gutter, carry it in, have a 55-gallon drum inside the shed, elevated, so this way I have enough head pressure to force a couple chicken nipples, and that'll be that. But again, that's a big future project I'm very excited for. So here's my compost piles. It's mostly, you know, yard debris. I mean, I got about an acre here, and yeah, I mow the grass in the front, which I won't probably ever do. I mean, it's mowing grass, so that'll never make it onto the channel. That's just a part of life, right? You gotta mow your lawn, keep up with the Joneses. I'll dig in here a little bit. I know it's very rich. It's a little dry. It's been very hot. I should probably spray it down, but I mean, you know, it's not fully there, but I mean, you see worms up this high, so it's definitely breaking down. Again, this is what I hot composted, but then I mixed it because I'm a little limited on space here right now until we go to that, but you'll see. So that's what I've ruined. It's still good. Clearly there's plenty of worms in there. It's, you know, it's what I planted. All those onions seem to be doing good, so I ain't complaining that much, right? Hey, compost is free if you do it yourself. If not, if you buy it at Home Depot, you know how many bags that equates to and how many dollars? Quite a bit. And what's this? Is that just a blade of grass? No, that's some sort of seed. That's cool, but it's gone now. Bam. Bam, son. Just yard clippings. I haven't really been turning or maintaining this one, so this one's just cold compost. Again, I just don't have the room to turn it and deal with it. So here are more fig trees, which all died back. I'm sure you can see all these dead branches up high. So that was all last year. I have a big vine problem back here right now, but soon, if all goes well, that'll be taken care of. But as you can see, there's quite a spread of fig trees here. Not 100% sure on the variety. I would hope they're Chicago hardy, but the way they died, I mean, the winter wasn't that harsh last year, so it is what it is. This year I'm gonna try to cover them a little bit. We'll see how that goes. There are grapevines back here, which are pretty much taking over everything, but just for scope, once it stops washing out, from this white PVC fence to that fence back there, which is maybe 30 yards deep by almost the entire length of the property that way. I'm going to clear this, and this, though it doesn't look like much now, I mean, you can see all the vines in there. So all those vines, not to get off topic, all of those vines you see there, that's all wine grapes that overgrew the entire property. There's an apple tree here, here, and back there. One of these is dead just from, you know, vines choking the life out of it. But let's take a walk back here. You'll see my secret berry patch. You know, when I clear it, I'm going to lose some of these berries, but, you know, I want to do raised beds and one day a greenhouse. You know, I really want to make a backyard oasis. You could say permaculture and all this stuff, but I just want to be able to come back here and have at it. You know, I think there's a nut tree or two back here. It's kind of hard to tell. Everything's really overgrown. You know, when I do clear it, I'm not taking down the birches. You know, I bought this property because I liked how you feel like you're in the woods. We're in the suburbs of New York City. You know, we're like 60 miles out of the city, so it's not like I commute there. That's not where I work, but, you know, if it were up to me, I'd be living in the woods in the middle of nowhere, but close enough to a hospital because modern medicine is very good. And that's it, guys. That's the grand tour. I got a little more to show you, and that's about it. So hope you guys like, subscribe, etc., etc. And you ladies and squirrels, have a wonderful day.